What's good, everyone? Welcome or welcome back to our YouTube channel, aka our podcast for Two Real Chicks. I am one of the realest chicks, Aisha.
I am the realest chick, Lyah.
Today, we're going to be talking about basically being an adult and just basking and growing up as an adult because we have been kids at this stage of our life. Me and Leah are 25 and 26. So we have been
I'm
kids
12.
longer. Now this bitch is 12. Goddamn. We've been we've been kids longer than we have been adults. So like adjusting to adulting and figuring out what works, basically comparing yourself to others and thinking that you're not doing as best as everyone else because social media really shows so many different lives. You could be broke on food stamps and literally struggling every single fucking day. You could be in a shelter. You could be in jail. Social media shows everything. And with all that, you have the other side of things where people are showing their very luxury lives and these very luxury vacations, and they're going somewhere every couple of months, every couple of weeks, even every weekend, even. And that is what we're going to be talking about because I have recently walked into this new phase of my life, and I feel like it kind of happened overnight. Technically, it did, but
It happened
I'm
last night.
basically so I am walking into this new phase, and I'm like still feeling like I compare myself to certain people, whether it be financially, whether it be weight loss, whether it be just little things like that, my beauty, even like so many of those things. So that is what we're going to be getting into today.
Two real chicks, double shot, no chaser.
Being on social media, I compare myself honestly every single day to people. And I know that you shouldn't, but I would be sitting here lying and saying that I don't do it. I feel like we all do it. Don't you think?
No.
Leah, this episode will go smooth.
No, but in all seriousness, like I do that now, but
Mhm,
not to people on social media because I have the understanding that social media is a highlight reel sometimes for
mhm,
people. And you don't see everybody's entire life on social media. You only see what they want you to see, basically.
mhm,
Um, I do it with people who I see in real life, like
mhm,
up close and personal. Um, I will look at their life and be like, I'm right around their age or a little bit younger than them. How is it that they have XYZ and I don't? You know what I'm saying?
right,
And I have to remind myself that you're on the path that you're supposed to be on. And if you want what they have, you can get it. It's obtainable.
right,
You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's impossible. It's not like, they have a secret or they know a secret that you don't. You just have to work for it and go after it. So
yeah,
really the only obstacle that's in your way as of right now is you. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? So it's one of them things where like um I have to be mindful of my thoughts, the thoughts that I let run through my mind. Because
mhm,
sometimes your thoughts just consume you. Um, and if you're not careful, you'll start to believe the stuff that you think,
mhm,
and you'll been and looked up and realize that all this time has passed you by, and the only reason why you didn't get what it is that you wanted was because you never went after it. You were
yeah.
too stuck in your own head. So
I'm a firm believer in what is for you when it's supposed to happen will happen. Like
absolutely.
I have definitely been sitting around thinking like, damn, like, well, she got that and I didn't get this, or now this is happening with her and I don't have that opportunity. But like honestly, when you're walking into what you're supposed to be doing in your life at whatever phase that is, like it's gonna happen at some point. It just may take
Hmm.
you a couple more months. It may take you a couple of more years. Like for me getting a job, right? I have been saying for what? The whole time me and Leah has been knowing each other, I have been wanting a job. Even before that point,
Hmm.
I kept stopping. I didn't want to do the whole voc rehab thing. I didn't want to go the Bosman route. I just flat out just didn't want to do it. And it was more of self sabotage, but yet I kept telling myself, and I kept telling my boyfriend, my mom, my grandma, and my grandma, and I'm like, I want a job. And I feel like everybody else, y'all going to work, y'all meeting people, y'all having, these lunches, or like y'all going to go play basketball, those type of things. And I'm just like, well, I'll be here these same four walls every day. Like it got to the point where I was comparing myself to like my boyfriend, my brother, like my mom. Everybody's talking about, oh, I'm up going to work, and I'm just like, well, I want to
I'm just
go.
up.
Yeah, I done went to the living room, to the bedroom, back to the bathroom, a couple of times to the
But
bathroom.
in all fairness, it's not like you never had a job before. Your
No,
business
because
was
in
your
high
job.
school, but even in high school, I had worked all throughout high school. And like after graduation, that's when my life was like, sure, girl, no, you ain't doing that. Like the biggest accomplishment I had like at some point in my early 20s was just having my first apartment. And like, I'm so grateful I had my first apartment because I got on Section 8 and then I got off Section 8 because they were saying we made too much money. And like, I was
Don't
like,
know how that
okay,
happened, but
that was wild. But we had got to the point where I was thinking in my head, like, you just need to apply yourself, Aisha. Like, really push your fucking self. That's what I did in 2022, y'all. Like, if y'all watch my vlogs and like my posts from 2022, like on my TikTok page, you would see my evolution to where I'm at now. It makes sense from where I'm at.
it
But
does. Being a person who was on the other side of it, watching it
mhm,
happen, it's really an amazing transformation. It's an amazing story when you tell it
mhm.
from a friend's perspective, from
Thank you.
being somebody in the audience,
Mhm.
watching this person go through like all the transformations and the different, like all the different events that happened that year. The year
Yeah.
started out like any normal year. We were planning a girls trip and that
Girl, I
sort of
was getting
thing.
over COVID.
She just got over COVID, and our
Mhm.
honestly, we didn't even talk that much during that time period because she abandoned me for her newfound friends. But
First
anyway,
of all, I have
that's not
apologized for my wrongs.
whatever.
It was crazy.
Um, but when we did finally get into the group with all those girls, all she used to talk about was like, I just want to be more independent, and I just want to, have better cane skills, and I want to be able to um go places and not have to depend on people, and this that, and the third, and blah 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 blah. And so she gets into Bosma, which is a training center to help blind people live independently,
It's
basically.
here in Indiana as well,
It's in
y'all. Just
Indiana. They have there are training centers all over America in
hmm
different states, basically, and they're all called different things, but the goal is the same. Anyways,
yeah.
so to watch her go through that, she completed that in like 4 months, and that's what
Whoop,
happens
whoop.
when you put your mind to it and you be like, fuck all the bullshit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? When you're serious about doing something, you're gonna make sure that it gets completed, and
Right.
it's in a timely fashion. Some people
Yeah.
it may take them 9 months, and that's fine. You go at a pace that suits you, but
hmm
she got it done in 4, and she was so glad to have graduated and learned all the things that she learned. And we were telling her like, when you go into it, it's going to be one of the best things that you've ever done because it's giving you something that is quite literally priceless. Like you're getting your independence,
Literally.
and yeah, and like you're not having to wait around on anybody to take you anywhere or to walk with you
Yeah.
or do anything for you because you already know how to do that. This
Yeah.
girl's changing doorknobs and being a plumber and shit. Like
Period. Okay, I took apart
that
a
type of
whole
thing.
toilet. A
And
whole
all
ass
of it
toilet.
and all of it is like I think sometimes we get scared of our own potential
For sure.
and we become afraid of like it actually working out.
hmm
And that's me. That's me talking to me for real. Cause
Yeah.
that's me. Um,
Do
I
you
get
feel like you got
scared.
a lot of self sabotage because of that?
Yeah. I will
hmm
talk myself out of some shit real quick. I'll say like I could tell myself like right now I'm thinking about law school.
hmm
Um, but first I gotta get through undergrad. And right now the like in my mind, I'm like, I don't even like school and I don't want to do it. So I'm not going to, I will talk myself out of it, but then
Yeah.
feel like shit because it's like, damn well you don't want to be sitting here. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You want to work, but you want to go to school because you feel like if you get this degree, you may have a leg up and they might hire you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I sit with it long enough, I will talk myself out of it. And usually that means that you could do it. You're just
Hmm.
afraid. You're afraid to.
Yeah.
You're also afraid of getting into it and failing or doing it wrong or, whatever the case may be. You're afraid of, I don't know, maybe hard work. I don't know what it is, but sometimes I be talking myself out of shit. And I feel like with Aisha, it's one of the things where, you know, she always talked about doing it, but it's like until you take the first step, you're not going to
Hmm.
get it done. The only
Yeah.
way you're going to be able to get your independence is if you apply to Bosma.
Hmm.
You go through Voc Rehab and have them help you out with that whole entire process. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way. You got to take a step.
Yeah.
It's not going to come to you. You got to take the steps. You got to work at it. And as long as people see you working towards something, if they see you putting one foot in front of the other, they're gonna help you. You're
Right.
always gonna have the help. You know what I'm saying? So 2022, 2022, Lord, was a good year for everybody, including me.
Yeah.
Um, but especially for you.
Yeah. It was a road, like the group of friends that we were in. I mean, we're still friends with a lot of those girls, but
Yeah.
there's a couple of girls. Well, one girl right now, Key, she's currently in training, and I love
Yes.
that because she was definitely one of the ones that was very hesitant. And shout out to Key because she doing her damn thing. She
It
was one of the
is.
ones who was like not really wanting to use her cane and not really wanting to accept it fully. And she know one day that she could wake up and not have any vision. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that was my thing as well. I was like, well, I need to get into a career now. Like it wasn't even like, oh my God, you're gonna be 30 soon. Like it wasn't even that. It for me, it was more of like, you need to get up off your ass. Like you're good at your social media shit. And like me and Lyah would talk about this, I guess, in another video because we're using something to, build our channels up basically. And I was so nervous to even do that. Like, I'm just proud of my friends because I'm like, we all was sitting around saying the same thing. We all wanted to do the same thing. Lyah starting school, like I was. First of all, I'm so proud of you because first of all, I don't like school. I don't.
I
I
don't like it
graduated
either.
high
I'm not gonna
school.
hold you.
Right. I graduated high school and I was like going back to school at one point. I was going to do that over the Bosma thing. And then I was going to do Bosma. Well, I did Bosma and I was like, well, I'll do school again. I'll try that before work. And I was like, girl, no, you need to find a job. Get a motherfucking job because school works. It works if you need a job, schooling to get a certain job. And for me, I was like, need that. I could take a whole 20-minute course on social media and boom, basically learn what I need to learn and go get a job in that field. Now, just so happened, the job that I have, it worked out because the owner's daughter looked at my social media and was like, I need you. I want you. You're going to be on my team. And I am gratefully. But going back to our friends and like us in general, we would talk all
All the
day
time.
all day and we knew all of us wanted the same thing, and I feel like it's all because we knew we have the potential to get these things done. And
Mm-hmm.
with us being in our head so much, I think it definitely talked me out of it many of times. Like I would sit up and be talking to my boyfriend, he'd just be like, well babe, why don't you just do it? Like I'm a go-getter. Once I got my mindset on something, I'm gonna
It's a
go
wrap.
do it. Yeah. And I feel like with you, Lyah, like that's the same way. Like, soon as you said that you want to do something, you're gonna do it. Like dating. I know dating for you was scary as fuck. I understand.
Hell
I've
yeah. Dating
been
is and it still is. It's still a
there. Yeah.
scary thing.
And it's like at some point we just got to put ourselves out there, whether that be school, whether that be a job, whether that be us just trying to, I don't know, go to the grocery store by ourselves. Child, I don't like doing it myself, so I don't even hold nobody, even if you
I've
can't
been to the
see.
store by myself
Ugh,
and it's not as fun as like having
no,
somebody go with you.
Mm-mm. Especially somebody you know. Like when I was in
Yeah,
training, y'all, and I was going to the store at first, my trainer Jared, shout out to Jared, because he had me out there in the heat, honey, in the
as you
heat,
should.
downtown heat. And at first, like I was like so nervous about having a male O&M trainer. That's orientation and mobility, with your white cane. I was so nervous to have him because I was like, I've never had a man O&M instructor. Like you're behind me walking, being self-conscious as a woman. And by the end of it, I was like, bruh, this is one of the bros. Like he's trying to actually help me. He's, giving me, corrections when I need it. Like it was amazing. But I think getting out your head and just doing it. But we got a clip that I want to play right now. I don't remember the judge's name, but her husband recently did pass away. But so let's just get into that real fast.
You're 20. If I had 20 back,
Okay, did it play?
what a mess I'd make. 20 is for you. 20 is for growth. 20 is for the pursuit of a tomorrow that is better than today. 20 is for options. 20 is for passion and knowledge and enjoyment. It is not for continuous compromise. It is not a time to say, this is the guy that I got to make it with because this is the guy that I have. And no matter what compromises, no matter what I don't like, no matter what he does, I have to put up with it because he's my man. 20 is for firing dudes when they don't act right. 20 is for...
Lynn Toller always. Let me tell you something. Um, and I got something else to add to what we were talking about earlier. But
Mm-hmm.
Lynn Toller, her husband just passed away back in December of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Lynn Toller sound like she been on the streets. Like if you just listen to how she talk, like that's somebody like that sounds like they've been in the streets before and like they know what it
Mm-hmm.
is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just the way she talks. And she probably hasn't. She probably hasn't, but she just gives me that vibe. But it's like your 20s are that. They are
Yeah.
for making mistakes. They are for learning. They are for growing.
Mm-hmm.
They are for building that foundation for you to stand on. So that way, when you do meet somebody and you do decide you want to settle down, you are already established and you are already at least a good bit of the woman that you want to be. You know what I'm saying? Like it's it's for all those things like she said, and we're not supposed to have it all figured out. And I feel like that's sometimes what we forget. We're 23, 24, 26, 25, trying to rush and do something on a timeline. Whose timeline are we
Right.
on exactly? Like, who said that by 25 you had to be married?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that was the case, 40 or 50 years ago, but we're not there anymore. Times have changed, and
Mm-hmm.
those expectations are, you know, those are obsolete. And it's funny when we try to sit back and plan stuff, how life works. Cause it's like, I thought I was going to be married by 25. I'm 25 and I'm very much not married. I'm
Girl, the
not even
same.
dating anybody who has the potential of marrying me. Like, like I'm literally single. And it's like, there are a lot of factors that go into that. But at the end of the day, it's like, you don't have to rush to have it all figured out.
Yeah.
In due time, whatever you are wanting to have, you will have it, but you have to be prepared to receive it. And sometimes we
Right.
ain't in that place just
Yeah.
yet. So it's like,
That was me when I had met Anthony. We met when we were 23. I was very much on like I'm trying to have my whole phase. Like I'm trying to fuck these niggas and go about my business. But I don't know, something about Mr. Comer
I'm
just
trying to have a whole phase, but it's not working out. Anyways, that's not important.
girl, I try. But I feel like when it comes to relationships, that's one thing I definitely feel like I was trying to figure out. And it was like, girl, the men that was in my life at that time of me trying to, oh, I'm gonna be wifey to somebody. Girl, no, they didn't deserve that. Now the one that I'm with now,
At all.
definitely, hands down, he does. But the
He don't.
mothers, who child, Anthony do, he do, Mr. Coleman.
He don't.
I love you, boo. I love
He
you.
don't. She
But
lying. No, I'm just playing.
But the guy that I had before, Anthony, when we speak of him and speak of exes, Anthony does not consider this man my ex because he's like, I didn't do shit. y'all had sex. That's all he had you for. And I'm like, I mean, he did. You know, that is the truth. He but only hit me up for booty calls, and I was accepting it. But that's going back to like my self worth. I didn't think I was enough. I didn't think I was more than just a hole for him. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
like, if 26-year-old Aisha could smack the out of 22-year-old Aisha, it would be a whole different Aisha today. I would be this Aisha.
But this is the thing though with that, because you're supposed to make those mistakes
Girl,
when
I
you
was
are
making
that
the
young.
wrong
You know what I'm saying?
mistakes.
Like, and I'm not excusing anybody being an asshole or nothing like that. But what I'm saying is there are certain things that are expected of 20-year-olds, 20
Hmm.
somethings. Um, like I'm 25 now, and it's like if I can go back and tell the 18-year-old Lyah, hey, listen to those people when they're telling you about so and so.
Hmm.
Like I was listening. I heard everything they said.
Yeah.
But I wanted to see for myself, and I saw, and a part of
That's what I
growing,
should have done. I should have broke up with that first one. Who 5 years I would never get back. Never.
a part of growing is realizing that you had a hand in your own hurt and heartache and
Mm-hmm.
pain and stuff like that. Um, I literally, when people would talk about him and all the stuff that he's done, that he had did to other people, he being my ex, uh, my stomach would hurt.
Mm-mm.
My stomach would hurt, and I ain't paid any mind because I just figured, oh, maybe the food getting to me that I ate earlier today, maybe it's
Really
finally,
exposing them red
affected
flags.
me. Like maybe it's finally affected me. But I didn't think much of it. But like it kept happening. It kept
Yeah.
happening. I'm like, okay, this is weird. But it's like once I left it alone, I ended up really beating myself up for a good little minute. And I had to be like, you know what? You you were supposed to, like, not supposed to be stupid, but it's like, I mean, come on now, you're 20, you're still trying to figure it out. Yeah, you were taught better, you were raised better than that, and you compromised and kind of threw a lot of your beliefs and values that you were taught to the side. Sure. Will you ever do that again? No, we hope not. But this probably won't be the first time that you'll be stupid for somebody. This probably won't be the last time that this will happen. And it's like at the end of the day, you have to give yourself a little bit of grace and not be so hard on yourself, because at the time you thought you loved a person, so you did everything you did out of uh love. It came from a genuine place. What he was doing didn't, but what you were doing did. So it's like, it's just a lot when you have to sit back and reflect on like all the stuff that's happened thus far.
Hmm.
It's just be
For me, I honestly knew that I was someone's like whole. Like that's all I was. Like I didn't. He didn't see nothing else in me. Like he didn't see my intelligence. We didn't have two philosophical conversations. Not saying like in the educational term. Just like we didn't talk about much. Like when I look at that time in my life, I really was on some stupid shit. And then I went from that to another dude that just was. It was just also a no. But in that phase of my life in my 20s, I just was like, have fun. Like I was on some have fun type shit, but I knew like, girl, this is not for you. That's why I didn't have them around my family. Like the only people that seen
exactly.
them was like my best friend at the time, and then my little brother and my little cousin as well. Them was the only three people that really saw those individuals around. And I knew if I brought so and so and the other one to anything, they wouldn't have been accepted because they would have saw how I was being treated and then, ridiculed me. So sometimes we not necessarily self-harm in the sense of like physically harming ourselves, but be destructive with ourselves because we feel like we're not good enough for certain things. And to tie this all back in, I feel like this stage in my life, like what's happening to me right now in my today, I am giving myself more grace. I'm giving myself this time to fuck up. Like my first two
As
weeks
you
at
should.
work, right? At my first 2 weeks at work, I had posted something I wasn't supposed to. And I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to post this thing. It was really bad communication, if you ask me. But I was like, well, I'm still new to this job. Everyone's fucking up. Everybody was fucking up. Like, it's okay. So I fixed my mistake. I corrected myself. And now I'm doing even better at my job, of course. But I'm giving myself that time to give myself the grace that I know that I need. I'm being easier on myself, gentler, more gentle on myself. I'm literally taking self-care Sundays to a whole nother like realm of things, you know? Like I was so in my head to the point where I literally was holding myself back from what I knew that I could do. And I'm talking to you, Lyah. I'm talking to me, and I'm talking to anybody else that is hearing my voice. Y'all, give yourself some grace because at this phase in your life, it may just not be your time. It may be your time, and you're slowly walking up into it. Next week is a whole other week. We about to be in March, and what's for you will come and it will happen. So,
At its
what's
own pace, not to be
mm-hmm,
rushed. All good things take time. Good things are worth waiting
mm-hmm,
for. But to add on to what you were saying about you being in your own head, and to what we were talking about earlier, with all the girls talking about the same thing, sometimes it takes for you to see somebody else
yeah,
doing what you want to do to give you that nudge.
yeah,
And literally, that's what happened. Like, before we knew it, Aisha had started a domino effect in the group. And first she went to training,
mm-hmm,
then the other girl went to training.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Another one
I
went to
think like
work.
in October, yeah, they all started to go to work and things like
Mhm.
things started to happen.
Yeah,
And it was just like one person took the first leap and then
mm-hmm.
the tower fell, but not because of anything bad. It fell for good
It
reasons.
was
You know what
positive.
I'm saying? Yeah, she was the catalyst that started everything. So sometimes it takes for you to see somebody doing what you want to do in order
Mm-hmm.
for you to be like, you know what? It's either now or never.
Yep.
And you just have to step out there and you just got to do it. And
Yep.
sometimes too, um, you have to find the energy within yourself to just get up and do it. Sometimes you have to be the first person
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes people around you aren't going to do it. Sometimes you just got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that it just is what it is. In this stage in my life though, I am trying to figure out boundaries, what I
Mm-hmm.
want, what I'm going to let slide or what I won't let slide, what I'm okay with, what I'm not okay with, especially when it
Girl,
comes to
say that
like that,
word. Say that.
especially especially when it comes to uh dating.
Mm-hmm.
What I feel like I'm going in, especially when it comes to dating and figure out what are you going to allow guys to get away with, and like
Yeah.
what are your standards, what are your rules, what are your boundaries, um what are you looking for, and like what are some things that you are not going to negotiate on whatsoever, like what are some
Mm-hmm.
things you're going to stand 10 toes um behind. And it's just that, and even in friendships, trying to make sure that I'm being the best friend that I can be, and trying to make sure that um I'm doing my part as a friend, because sometimes I do feel like I don't call my friends enough. And true enough, the phone works both ways.
Girl, yes.
But sometimes people are going through stuff, and it would be nice if you could just reach out for a change. It won't hurt nobody. A little text message or a little phone call
Mm-hmm.
does nothing. It costs you nothing.
Yep.
Literally, it costs you nothing but 2 seconds. So it's really, that's kind of where I am, just trying to figure out what works for me and not running it by anybody, not saying, oh my gosh, should I be doing this or should I do that? And da, 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 da. It's like, no, like if you
Girl,
want
just
to do
do
it,
it.
just do it, and not be in my
Mm-hmm.
head about it and not worried about how it's going to look to people.
Yeah.
And it's so much easier said than done. It's easy for
Yes.
you to tell somebody, like, you don't need to be worried about that and what they think don't matter and da 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 da. But it's like at the end of the day, when you are a person of a certain age or in a certain age group, you don't want people to look at you in a certain way. But it's like if you are always worried about how people look at you and how they view you, you're never going to be able to live in your truth and be your authentic self and do all the stuff that you really want to do, because you're trying to live and be the person that you think they want you to be, the ideal person that you've drudged up in your mind that they would like to see. And it's just like that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's like you trying to be perfect. Perfection doesn't, it doesn't exist. We're all flawed and it's fine.
I think as far as like, like that thing, like the trend that's going on, like basically be delusional until it comes true, or the trying to have a soft girl life, da da da, da, like that sort of thing. I see a lot of videos these days on not glamorizing your life in something that is not, but it's like, let me be fucking delusional. If I feel like something ain't going the way I want it to be, if I sit up in my house and think that I'm just this girl that has on nothing but the finest of golds, the finest of silk, let me think that. But in that time frame, I'm working towards that. Even if today
Exactly.
I got up and I got dressed, I did content, even if that's all I could do. Because at one point that was me. I was doing content, I'm pushing out videos because I ain't got shit else to do. Shit. I might as
Why
well
not?
make some fucking followers, go viral here and there. Like, let me do that. Let me be delusional until I'm there where I want to be.
And that'd be my thing too. Like just because you don't see yourself having those things doesn't mean you have to try to blind everybody else's vision and keep
Yep.
them from seeing it. It's just like, okay, let me feel like
Mm-hmm.
I live in a mansion and I have the finest silk and the nicest gold and all the things. Let me do that. I'm working towards it. But let me imagine when you put yourself in that mindset of already having it, when you get it, it ain't gonna be nothing new. You know what I'm saying? It'll be as if you already have it. If you act like you're a celebrity, if you act like, a certain kind of way, it's probably more likely that you are going to either be that person or get whatever it is that you already have visualized in your mind. Because I always hear people say that that's a part of manifestation. You say it aloud or you write it down, you visualize it.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, that doesn't mean you sit around. I think what will go wrong with manifestation is that they feel like once you say it and you visualize it, it comes to you. No, you still got to work. You still
Yeah,
got to do the work.
most of.
But, let me, and sometimes being delusional is blissful. Sometimes not
Yeah,
knowing is blissful because you get to a point where you start knowing stuff and you be like, I kind of wish I didn't know a lot of the stuff that I know.
yeah,
Sometimes being ignorant is the best thing to be in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like it's just too much stuff that be going on. It's like I kind of wish I didn't know at this point.
yeah. I feel that. I really do. So moving on to the next thing, and this is kind of like the last question. I didn't have any questions, y'all, just three. What is the name of this next phase in your life? Your 20, what would this be? Your 25 or 26? 26?
I'm about to be 26 in July, which is crazy to me.
Oh, yes. I'm about to be 27. So what would you call this next phase?
Um, honestly, I really don't know what I would call it. I know I would call this phase that I'm in right now was like the getting to know me phase and trying to figure it
Yeah.
out. But that's gonna be the longest phase ever because you're always growing and you're never the same person. So you're always getting to know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Um I might I don't know.
It's kind of hard.
I don't even know. I really don't. I really want to um I think I just want to like become more firm on things
Hmm.
and just really just do what I want to do and not run it by people. So
Yeah.
I don't really know what that's called.
I mean, you
I
could
don't have
call
a
it your
word
strong
for it.
girl era. You could call it that. That's kind of witty. And
Your
then like,
grown girl era.
no, strong,
Oh,
strong girl
strong.
era.
Well, no, I don't really know about strong because people hear strong and they assume you don't need
Mm.
nobody, and it's like no,
I
and
still need my team. I still need
me
my
being
my good
strong doesn't mean that it doesn't mean I don't need anybody. I have my weak moments too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't
Taking.
know. I'm gonna figure it out, but it's very much that it's just like doing what you want to do and not having to ask anybody about it, not running
Yeah.
it by anybody, just
Mhm.
like secretly, because like you know what it is, you know whether or not. you should or shouldn't be doing something. But I think what it is like you be asking for permission to
Yeah.
see if somebody's going to give it to you. And it's like, you don't need that. If you want to do it, just go and do it.
Just
Like,
do it.
just be like Nike and just do it.
Just do
Like,
it.
like you don't need permission. You don't need, now I could see you asking for advice, something different. But,
Yeah.
sometimes you have to really catch yourself and be like, is it advice that you're seeking or is it permission?
Right.
If it's permission, don't ask, you
Mhm.
know?
That's like, before I say what my era I feel like is, that's like at one point I kept feeling like I constantly needed my mother's validation. And it was like it's some like the past 2 years I had just realized, bitch, you're grown. Like
Very much good and grown, paying
right.
your own bills grown. Like,
Right. Been grown and gone since like what, 22, 21. Like, girl. So for me, I think I won't even say I surpassed that phase because I still feel like I ask for validation from certain people as well. Like whether it be you, Anthony, my boyfriend, like Anthony is my boyfriend. Not me having two boyfriends. Whether it
tell
be
it, oh,
you,
tea,
right.
tea. What is tea?
Quitting, like talking to my little brother, talking to my older brother, because me and my older brother, he'd call me, like, Malcolm keep me on the phone for hours. But I feel like at this stage right now in my life is I feel like it's really like becoming me, like becoming the grown woman I want to be. Um and I think improving, like we moved into a really nice freaking house on a really nice side of town. Like, and that happened out of chance because the day that was supposed to happen, like us go and look at this place, we had the money. The money wasn't the problem. All we had to do was go see it to see if Anthony would be like, all right, let's do it. Because he was on some like hesitation and all that. My mom was like, y'all need to really just go see the place. We saw the place, we got it. Then quickly after that, I got a job. It was
The
like,
puzzles fell into place. The pieces of the puzzle
yeah,
fell where they needed to fall,
where they needed to
basically,
fall. And
right on time.
yeah, so I think this stage of my life, this 27th chapter, I think that's really going to just be me growing into what I wanting to be. And oh my god, I don't want to cry. What the fuck?
Cue the
But
tissues, please.
right, but I got chills when I said that. But I'm speaking some real shit. Like that is really what I'm going through right now. Like, oh, I'm not trying to cry. This episode was supposed to be lighthearted, but
It is lighthearted, but sometimes in lightheartedness, you start speaking truth to power and things start to hit you in the moment where it's like, oh my God, I'm actually living what I
yeah,
said I wanted to do, or I'm actually being the person that I said I wanted to be. And when you start to reflect on the year that you had,
it's
it's
like
worth some
wow.
tears.
It's
It's
like
worth some tears
wow.
because you really put all you had into it. You said this year is going to be the year where Aisha gets up off her ass and gets her a job. And look
I
what
said
happened.
that all of 2022. I
Aisha got a job.
literally did.
You had some other steps in the process
Whew.
that you had to go through, to get to that point, but you're here now. And it's like,
Yeah.
what's next for
Yeah.
me? I've achieved that goal that I had set for myself. That was the ultimate goal. What's next?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then you have to look at all the things that you've tried and either succeeded at but didn't really want to pursue it because it wasn't where your heart was, or it failed, or whatever the case may be. You were a business owner for a while. She had a business for like 2 or 3 years
Yeah.
and she let it go.
Hmm.
You tried your hand at business with friends that didn't quite go so
Hmm.
well. Um, you tried your hand at friendships and trying to make new ones, and even though ours is about to end, it was nice while it lasted, but still, um you look, she agreed. She don't even know what I just said. But it was like, it's a year that's worth a lot of reflection and a lot of tears, if you know what I'm saying, if you
Oh
have
my
any
god,
to
I
give,
am crying.
because because you really
Wow.
had the best year, I think, out of everybody in that entire group. Like, yeah, I got into school and I started dating and I put myself out there, which was very like that was a lot for me.
That was new for Leah.
Even
Okay.
still, like I was very much scared to even do that. Um, being single for at the time, I think it was like 2 years or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
almost two, trying to put yourself out there. And I'm like, I'm not really ready for it. I don't have the energy. And then I did it again back in like March of last year. And it's just like, and it's been a year for me almost
Yeah.
next month. And it's like, it's been a very eye opening experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I would do it again because
Yeah.
you learn a lot about you and you learn a lot about what you like and what you don't like. And it's just one of them things where you have to just do it and you can't think too much about it. And I like everybody in that group, I think her transformation was like the most like eye opening, or I don't know. There's a word that I'm trying to find to describe it, but I can't. So it's like, yeah, cry about it if you need to.
Right.
Those aren't tears of sorrow; those are tears of joy. You
Those some
deserve
happy
that.
tears. Because this time last year, I literally was preparing to go to my tour. And even though I had been to Boston, girl, many of times, but it was a part of the process to do the program. And I'm telling them, like, y'all, this is moving so fast. Because I had did this in February where I had went through the vocal rehab and they were like, oh, it may take us a couple of months. Then the waiting list. I was told that I wouldn't have started until about June time. So I was nervous about when I was going to start. They called me and said, hey, you want to come not February, April 21st or April 19th? I said, honey, I will take April 19th for 15th. Alex, okay, give me that.
Period.
Like I knew that it was my time and I was so ready, like so ready. Now, was I nervous to be away from Anthony? Yes. Was I nervous to be away from my home, my norm? Of course, but I knew that it was my time and to
Took
think
you out of your comfort zone.
right and to think that I'm literally a year, my anniversary for that is going to be a year in April. That is insane. I like I honestly, I wish all those girls nothing but the fucking best. I know me and Leah
Truly,
have big plans over here as far as two real chicks. We'll be meeting up soon. Like we'll be able to be in
I'm not
person
mean her.
episode. Y'all, she's gonna be with me. I don't know why she keeps saying things like this, but me and Leah's relationship, like hell, I thought this girl wanted to fucking fight me, and look at us podcasting it.
I'm still very much confused by that notion
Oh,
because
on
how
insecurity.
is it that I want to fight you, but I'm interacting with your videos and I'm like, oh, hey, girl, how you doing? Nah, 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 nah. Liking your videos, stitching your videos with my opinions that may be opposing to yours. Like,
Leah was
what?
always trying to disagree to me, and I was like, "Girl,
First of all, that wasn't even always the case because if I had an opinion that was the same as yours, I said it. If I had an opinion that was different. First of all, she asked questions like, ask this question on my YouTube channel. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that you should date a guy who was a whore in his past? And I said, why not? You
fuck
can be
that nigga."
passing up a good guy. And I guess she took that to mean this bitch want to fight me. What are you talking about?
When I say insecurities, honey,
Delusional.
definitely. So I
Delusional.
am happy. I'm happy right now. In my life. I may not have a big group of friends to enjoy with, but goddamn it, I got motherfucking Shalia. Okay, I got
She
Shalia.
doesn't really.
Oh my gosh! First of all, when we started that group, this motherfucker came in the group. Aisha is my friend. So I don't know what y'all doing, but that's my friend. And they would all be like, "That is her friend."
I never said that. What are you
She said that often.
talking?
But I'm happy. I'm so fucking happy. I just need to lose some goddamn weight, get my eating control. But we're gonna talk about that on my YouTube channel because March is coming. In February, I don't know what happened in February. I was shopping my ass off. I spent so much money in February. Okay. Now, did I get my office together? No. But my bathroom upstairs, our master, it's finished. It's decorated. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't really save. I didn't.
But you
It's
know what?
time
That's what March is for. That's why we have March. That's what we
to
have
start.
the different months to start over. You got the whole year to get it right. Nobody ever said, and who's to say you're going to complete your goals this year?
Mm-hmm.
It's a goal to do it, yes, but that doesn't mean it can't carry over or roll over into the next year. I've achieved a couple of the goals that I have set. As far as like being consistent, I'm still working on consistency. That's going to be a lifelong thing that I have to just
Yeah.
it's it is what it is. But procrastination is still something that I'm struggling with.
Girl, same.
But
Patient is never a thing.
journaling, I journaled for 25 days straight and then I quit. Um, and now I feel like I'm just gonna journal when I want to. I'm gonna journal when the urge hits me to
Yeah,
journal. But I have some goals that I'm working towards, and I'm not gonna rush myself to achieve them. I'm just gonna, do them when I'm able to, when I'm in a position to where I feel like I can actually work towards achieving those goals. But you know what? At the end of the day, as long as you put one foot forward and you try, that's really all that matters at the end of the day.
yeah.
So
I enjoy that. I think y'all, before we try to beat this episode down, I done cried. Y'all got me crying on camera.
I'm a thug. So
Thank you for watching the Two Real Chicks podcast. If you liked what you saw, subscribe to our channel and press the bell so that you don't miss a single upload. We're always interested in hearing what you think, so be sure to leave your comments and thoughts on this week's episode in the comments below. We'll see you next time.